All right, so let's walk through the pseudocode with a very tiny little example in mind, just to see how the value updates work. So what we're doing here is we start off at the beginning of an episode. We say that the eligibility for all the states is 0. And the new value function is whatever the value function was at the end of the previous episode. So we just make a note of that. What we're going to do for this example is just keep track of the changes. So this ultimately it's all going to get added to whatever the previous value was. All right, so now we make a transition. And the first transition we make is from S1 to S2 with reward R1. What does that do to the eligibility?
Well, for S1, it sets the eligibility to 1.
Good. All right. Then we're now going to loop through all the states, all of them, and we're going to apply this same little update to all of them. And the update has the form, whatever the current learning rate is, times the reward that we just experienced, the R1, plus gamma times whatever the previous iteration value was for the state that we landed in, minus the previous iteration's value of the state that we just left. All right, so this quantity is going to actually get added to all the states, but the amount that it's going to get added to all the states is proportional to the eligibility for that state. And since at the moment states S2 and S3 are ineligible, right, they have their eligibility set to 0, really nothing's happening there. We're only making an update with respect to state S1.
Okay, I see. So then why are we bothering?
Well, it's not clear yet. For now, let's just make sure that it does the right thing. Then we'll talk about why it's a reasonable thing to have done.
Okay. I trust you, Michael, implicitly.
All right, so that's the changes that we've made so far to the new value function for S1, S2, and S3. All right, now we take the next step, which is from S2 to S3. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Before that, we have to decay the eligibilities for everybody. So the zeros decay to still 0, and the 1 decays down to gamma. All right, now we're done that update from the step that we just took. We take the next step, S2 to S3, reward R2. So what does it tell us to do? Well, the first thing is we have to update the eligibility of the state that we just left. So that bumps S2's eligibility up to 1. Then we go through everybody and we add this quantity again. So what's the new quantity? It's R2 plus gamma times the value of the state that we just left minus the previous value of the state that we, no, sorry, the state we just got to and the state we just left. All right, so this is this update that is now independent of which state we're actually changing. We're going to apply that everywhere, but we're going to apply it proportionally to the eligibility. So the eligibilities are at the moment gamma 1 and 0. So gamma 1 and 0. So we just have to add this into the other things.
What does that look like?
So through the magic of cut and paste, we can actually add that same complex quantity to both these updates here. And in particular, we're multiplying by the eligibility. So for the first value, we have this extra gamma in here. For the second one, nothing. And for the third one, it gets multiplied by 0, so I didn't even bother to write it. So this is starting to look a little bit hairy, but that's okay because we're going to do some simplification.
Okay.
So here's the interesting thing to observe, that previously we added in this value of S2 according to the previous value function times gamma, and now we're subtracting away the value of S2 from the previous iteration, and we're multiplying that by this gamma and this alpha. So they actually match exactly. This thing and this thing cancel.
That's beautiful.
So now I can rearrange the remaining terms and make it look a little bit simpler. All right, and this is the simplified form that we get. It compactifies really nicely, actually. And so we have something that's of a similar form that we had before. But the point is that mainly what just happened is we regrouped terms, and the S2 related stuff in this term, in this update here, canceled. So the last thing we do after we've done all those value updates is we update the eligibilities, and we're ready for the next step.